Everyone feared the billionaire CEO. She ignored praise. She crushed egos. She never looked twice at anyone. But the day she saw fresh flowers on a poor single dad's desk, her hands trembled. Because those flowers were never meant for him. And the secret behind them would destroy everything she believed about power, love, and control. Stay till the end, because the man she ignored would become the one she couldn't live without. She walked past him every day without seeing him, until jealousy made her stop. Chapter 1. The Man No One Noticed. Evelyn Cross was the kind of billionaire CEO people whispered about in elevators. Cold, brilliant, untouchable, she built Cross Dynamics from the ground up and ruled it like a queen with no patience for weakness. Employees learned quickly: don't speak unless spoken to, don't expect mercy, and never expect kindness. That morning was no different. She entered the office tower with her usual sharp stride, heels clicking like a warning. Executives straightened their backs, assistants swallowed their nerves. She didn't look at anyone, not even her own reflection in the glass walls. Until she passed the accounting floor. There, at the very end of the room, sat Daniel Reed. A single father, quiet, overworked, always early, always last to leave, the kind of man people forgot existed. And on his desk sat a small glass vase of fresh white lilies. Evelyn stopped walking. The office froze. Her eyes narrowed. Flowers didn't belong there. Not in her company. Not on his desk. Something burned in her chest. Sharp, sudden, unfamiliar. Jealousy. She didn't understand it. She didn't want to. But it pulled her back toward him like gravity. "Whose flowers are those?" she asked, her voice calm but dangerous. Daniel looked up, startled. His tie was slightly crooked. Dark circles rested beneath tired eyes that had seen too many sleepless nights. "They're mine, ma'am," he said carefully. "For what reason?" she demanded. He hesitated, then answered honestly. "They're for my daughter. She was sick last night. She likes flowers. I forgot them at home." The room held its breath. Evelyn stared at him longer than she ever stared at anyone. Then she turned and walked away. But something had already cracked. That night, she couldn't sleep. Why did it bother her? Why did the thought of another woman buying him flowers make her chest ache? Why did the image of him, tired, gentle, unnoticed, refuse to leave her mind? She told herself it was control, discipline, order. She was lying. Days passed. More flowers appeared. Different kinds. Always fresh. Whispers spread. Someone must love him. The idea enraged her. She summoned Hour. She reviewed his file. She learned his past. Daniel's wife had died 3 years earlier. Cancer. Slow. Painful. He sold everything to pay medical bills. He worked nights. He worked weekends. He raised his daughter alone. And Evelyn, the woman who had everything, suddenly felt like she had nothing. She began finding excuses to pass his desk. She corrected reports she never read before. She listened to his soft voice explain numbers that suddenly mattered. And worst of all, she began to care. She tried to destroy him. Instead, she broke herself. Chapter 2. When Power Met Love. Evelyn Cross didn't fall in love. She controlled outcomes. So when she realized her feelings for Daniel were no longer manageable, she did what she always did: she tightened her grip. She reassigned him, cut his bonuses, increased his workload. She told herself it was business. Daniel never complained. Instead, he worked harder. One night, she stayed late, something she hadn't done in years. As she passed his desk, she noticed something new. A small crayon drawing taped to his computer. A stick figure man holding a little girl's hand. Above them, messy letters read, "My daddy is my hero." Evelyn felt her chest tighten painfully. That night, something broke inside her. The next morning, Daniel didn't show up. No emails, no calls. Panic spread through her in a way no market crash ever had. She drove to his address herself, a modest apartment far from her world of glass and marble. When he opened the door, his daughter lay asleep on the couch, pale and breathing weakly. "She collapsed at school," he said quietly. "I couldn't leave her." Evelyn stood there, powerless. In that moment, titles meant nothing. She sat beside him in silence. Hours passed. When his daughter woke up, she smiled weakly at Evelyn and whispered, "Daddy, is she your friend?" Daniel didn't answer. Evelyn did. "Yes," she said, tears filling her eyes. "I am." That was the first time she cried in decades. From that day on, everything changed. She reversed his demotion publicly. She apologized, privately. She supported his daughter's treatment anonymously. But love isn't bought with money. It's earned. Slowly, carefully, painfully, she learned how. Months later, Daniel placed flowers on her desk. This time, she didn't feel jealousy. She felt peace. At the company gala, she stood beside him, not as a CEO, not as a billionaire, but as a woman who finally learned what truly mattered. And when people asked why the coldest CEO in the city suddenly smiled, she simply looked at the man everyone ignored and said, "He reminded me that love doesn't bow to power, it humbles it." Glowing star final inspiring message for YouTube ending. Sometimes, the people we overlook carry the greatest strength. Sometimes, the hearts we guard the hardest are the ones that need love the most. And sometimes, it only takes a few forgotten flowers to change a life forever.